guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Habitual here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the non-habitual resident tax scheme in Portugal. If you're new in this channel, ESENtaxa talks about how to minimize your taxation in Italy and in the south of Europe as well. Now we are exploring the next country, Portugal. But we're also going to release more and more video about other jurisdictions in the south of Europe or in Europe. And also we deep dive into the Italian legislation, the Portuguese legislation, and all those legislation that has a specific tax scheme that you can exploit and minimize your taxes. In the description below the video, you will have our contact email, info@esentaxa.com, if you want to ask us some questions, if you want to have a consultation or a tax simulation, or we also have released a new video course in which we explain you how to minimize your taxation. So in this specific video, I want to finally clarify how it works, this non-habitual resident tax regime. We have plenty of video on YouTube in which there are several tax advisors, tax accountants that basically explains this tax scheme very well, but still too much in general. So we don't have really a video in which we are going to understand which are the point of strength and point of weaknesses of these tax regimes. So we have to be very careful because sometimes people might misunderstand that this regime will allow you to pay zero taxes wherever. In any cases, this is not true. And we're going to see exactly which are those cases. First of all, let's examine the golden points. I will call it golden points because they are the most important and attractive element of this NHR scheme in Portugal. The tax regime lasts for 10 years. This is quite important because you have a long time that you can basically plan your relocation in a certain country. In 10 years, you can really make like a long-term taxation plan. You can minimize a lot of your taxes. You can set up your company, you can purchase your property, you can bring your family with you. So 10 years is quite a lot of time. The second important golden point that I would highlight here is the fact that you can remit your money back to Portugal. So there are some countries in Europe, such as UK, Ireland, and Malta, all these ex-colony of the UK Empire, that basically they are keeping the do not domicile scheme, which basically has a disadvantages, which basically you cannot remit back your money. Otherwise, if you do, this amount of money will be taxed at a certain rate, maybe the progressive tax rate, etc., etc. So in order to be tax-free for that specific amount of money, you should keep it outside the country. Well, for the Portuguese tax scheme, this is not true. So you can basically bring back the money into Portugal bank accounts and you don't have to pay any taxes on it. Okay, so this is quite important. That makes a huge difference compared to those other English jurisdictions or UK jurisdiction, if you want, we call it like this, that basically has this not done scheme. Then, most important one is that the exemption on all your foreign income under certain conditions. Now we are going to explain you exactly what does it mean under certain conditions. So, with the Portugal NHR scheme, most of the cases, your foreign income is tax-free. And this is the most important point because this is the real advantages of this scheme, tax regime. We also have a tax exemption on gift for family members. And one of the most important point is there is no minimum stay requirement. So, and this is the key point of this NHR regime. And I'm going to explain you why this last point, it makes all the difference in the world, okay? So this regime is very attractive because those are the golden points that a lot of you guys are looking for. A lot of you guys are trying to understand if a country can give you a certain level of flexibility, either in terms of taxation and in terms of movement. So maybe you are a digital nomad, you need to move around, or you want to produce income from abroad, and this income from abroad, it's tax-free. So Portugal with the NHR can give you this special solution. And then the most important point is that you can combine this tax scheme with a country, with a company set up in another country. We can cross-check how the jurisdiction with the double taxation agreement works. So this video will be very interesting because now I'm going to explain in details how it works. First of all, I would make a differentiation. Let's say a lot of tax accountants, they don't make this differentiation. This allows you to understand better how the regime works. Basically, this is my way of explaining you the concept. I would basically consider the NHR as a basic level, and as a full level. Let's first analyze what does it mean NHR basic. It means that you become a Portuguese tax resident if you fulfill certain paper, if you submit certain papers, if you acquire the residence, if you go there and you register to the communal residence, if you acquire the NIF, which is basically the fiscal code of the Portuguese fiscal system, and this is the most important point, is that if you provide the proof of habitual adobe with a rental contract, or alternatively, if you purchase a property. So actually, to become a Portuguese tax resident is not just needed to stay up to 6 months plus 1 day, but you have optionally the possibility to say to the Portuguese tax authority, I moved there, I'm going to be, I will consider Portugal as my habitual adobe, and I have the proof, which is basically the registration in the commune plus the contract with a rent, with a contract for a long-term rent, or alternatively, I have purchased a property in which I'm going to live in. So all my bills, electricity, gas, all the kind of expenses are at my name. So I give this proof to the Portuguese tax authority that I'm going to, my intention is to live there. And this is enough. So it means that my physical presence should not be necessary there for 6 months. Okay, so this makes a huge difference in the work, because this gives me a lot of flexibility in terms of moving around the world and keeping the fiscal resident in Portugal, and a benefit from NHR. So NHR basic means that basically I'm able to apply for the NHR. So I'm going to I'm going to provide all the paperwork. I'm going to prove that I'm going to stay there and have the proof of the habitual adobe. And third point is that I wasn't tax resident in Portugal in the last previous 2 years. Okay, so this is the basic minimum, the bare minimum to qualify at the eyes of the Portuguese tax authority as a non-habitual resident. Okay, so far so good. So this is the basic. Now, once I manage to have this done, this solved, then I can consider myself an NHR full, so a non-habitual resident, which fulfill entirely the requirements and benefit from the maximum tax exemptions. So in order to qualify as NHR full, I have to be NHR basic, as we said before, plus I have to perform an activity as a known as high added value activity, which means basically that I have to be a certain professional in a certain category. I have to be high qualified, skilled professional. So I have to prove that I will have to work in this domain. Okay. In this video, I will show you exactly which is the list of the professional category that are considered high added value from the Portuguese tax authority. And one of the most important points is that my foreign income, if I'm producing income from abroad, from outside Portugal, this income should not come from a blacklisted country at the eyes of Portuguese tax authority, unless Portugal has with this blacklisted country a DTA, a convention to avoid the double taxation. Okay, so if there is no convention in place and this country is blacklisted, it means that all the income coming from this country is it won't be a part of the NHR, so you won't benefit from this tax exemption. So let's see now what happens if you are NHR basic versus if you are NHR full.